So we're getting another movie about the afterlife that again seems to completely miss the mark.
Urban bluegrass and the Bible.
So the other day, I'm scrolling through my phone as one does when you're, having a little downtime, and a preview for a movie comes up on my phone called Eternity. It stars Miles Teller, most famous for his role in Top Gun Maverick, and Elizabeth Olson, who's most famous for playing the Scarlet Witch in the Marvel movies. I really like Miles Teller. I've liked Whiplash, War Dogs, Top Gun Maverick. Everything he's been in it's been pretty good for me so far. So I usually will pay attention when he's in a film. Olsen, I mostly know her as the Scarlet Witch, and I haven't really kept up with Marvel since Endgame came out, but nothing against her. I would probably watch a movie with her in it, just like any other actor or actress. So I watched this preview, and I gotta say, it's another bad Hollywood idea of what the afterlife could probably be like. And I gotta say, as a Catholic theologian, I felt like I probably should give a little forewarning on this one. But anyway, check the preview out. I'll give you my thoughts on this movie and a few others, and why most movies get the afterlife completely wrong. So check this out.
What do you mean, Larry? We were together a week ago.
Well, a lot has happened in a week. You died, I died, I just been reunited with both of my dead husbands, and I have to pick where to spend eternity.
You waited 67 years.
When eternity's on the line, seems like nothing.
It's a good opener.
You're a lurker, pal. You're waiting beyond to spoil a half a century of marriage.
It's not a competition.
Yes, it is.
Sweetheart, is 100% for sure a competition.
It is in fact a competition.
That's literally what we're here for.
I wanted you to have a life.
So, as you can tell, it's basically The Notebook in heaven. And I want to be clear. I'm not trying to diss the movie, but that really is the premise. This is like every rom-com you've ever seen. Woman is stuck between the man she loved early in her life that got away or went missing or whatever. And then she goes off and lives her life and she finds love again and she starts to settle down. And all of a sudden that original love comes back into her life and she's pitted between them and she has to choose. Literally, I can hear the soundtrack. If this was the early 2000s, the Spin Doctors would be playing right now saying, I mean, right? I'm not that far off. So, at the end of the day, that's fine, but it's bad eschatology. When we die, we're not going to be concerned with our earthly emotions, the ties and the binds that are here. I am not saying right now that I don't want my wife, my children, my parents, my brothers and sisters, the friends and family, everybody that I know in heaven with me. I do want that. But I'm not going to be bound to them being there for my happiness. I'm going to be in presence of the beatific vision. And, heaven is not like this place where we live in Main Street of heaven in a house with a white picket fence with everything we've ever wanted. I don't see heaven being like a place where you're like, okay, you have all the money you ever wanted and you could drive the car you want and you can live in the house you want and you're not going to be bound by these earthly desires anymore. Your soul and your will are going to be bound to the will of God, like we should be praying in the Our Father, your will be done. And you're not going to be that's why we're not able to sin in heaven, because we're there with him. We're so perfected by his mere presence and he's no longer veiled to us that everything else is just gone. And as sad as it would be, I hate movies like this because they also show that the afterlife is dependent on who's there with you. I want my wife in heaven. I want my kids in heaven. Absolutely. One of the worst movies about the afterlife about this is What Dreams May Come by Robin Williams. It's a very visually stunning movie. He wakes up in a painting and his dog is there and he's starting to ease into heaven and the joy of it. He's just in bliss in the beginning. And then he finds out his wife's not in heaven. So instead of being perfected by God's presence, he's so bound to this earthly relationship that he has to say, God, you're wrong. Your judgment was wrong. And I know better than you. And I'm going to go fix it. And I'm going to go down to hell and I'm going to get her out and bring her up here. That's probably the quickest way to end up in hell, is telling God, you know better. Pride before the fall, folks. once again, it's a visually stunning movie. I'm not saying don't watch it. Maybe have discussions around eschatology when you watch it with family and friends, but it's a poor instructional video for what is to come. Disney did another movie a couple years ago called Soul. It's about this musician. He dies. He's not happy with the way his life has went, and I think he ends up reincarnating. I don't remember. I watched it so long ago, but while he's there, like Mother Teresa is training souls to go back. I'm like, Mother Teresa is not your guardian angel. She's not up there teaching people how to go back and live, because reincarnation is not something that Mother Teresa believed in, or nor do I as a Catholic. None of us Catholics would. And so it was one of those movies that I just kind of said, yeah, it's cute, but it makes a lot of bad theology in it. And it's not necessarily something I would use to form my ideas about the afterlife. Now, I'm probably going to watch this movie when it comes out. I like Miles Teller. Everything, he's funny. He can be funny, he can be dramatic. I like the guy. He's just I feel like if we had a beer, we'd get along. So kudos to him. I'm not saying that people made this movie to deceive people about where the afterlife is or make some religious grandstand. I think it's a premise that we've all probably thought about. If I died and my spouse remarried, would I get to be with them in heaven? Because we love them and we want to be with them. And that's a natural thing. But honestly, if I died tomorrow, this is to my wife, Kara, I love you dearly. If I died tomorrow and she remarries, I hope, one, she remarries a good man that keeps her close to God and that wants what's best for her. And when they both get to heaven with me, I'm going to be overjoyed. I'm going to be overjoyed to see her. I'm going to be overjoyed that he helped accompany her to that. God sent us 2 by 2. We can't always do it alone. I would be more than happy to shake his hand and embrace him as a brother, because at that point, that bond between us, that's over. And now she's where she's meant to be. And I think movies like this just really fail in understanding that. Look, if you're married and this is how you think if you're married and you're young and you lose a spouse and you think you're going to have to get to heaven and fight for your spouse, I don't know that you're in the right place. If I woke up in that state after I've laid down and breathed my last and I wake up and I have to fight with somebody else for my spouse, I'm going to recognize real quick I'm probably not where I want to be right now. And that's not to say I don't love the people in my life, but after we go, all that starts to fade away. So anyway, when the movie comes out, check it out. I'm not saying don't, but just be careful that you don't inform your views of the end from a movie like this. Sit down, read scripture, open your catechism, read the church fathers, read Aquinas and all others, because it's really important that we understand what our life here is for and what the afterlife is and how we can look forward to it. So, in that, I say, have a blessed day, keep aging towards perfection, which I always say, and hopefully we'll all meet each other at the throne, sharing in that beatific vision. Have a great one, guys.
Urban bluegrass and the Bible.